Welcome back. Here's a quick recap. Raon made a bold move against Edequil, then how about this? Let's make a bet, so we can accept the outcome without takebacks. Edequil raised an eyebrow in surprise. A bet? What kind of bet? Raon laid down the terms confidently. If I find the trolls, then from now on, the snow attack squad will speak respectfully to the scouts team. Also, you'll carry not just the gear you dump on us, but our gear too, and help with our chores. Edequil's face twisted in consideration, his eyes narrowing. And if you're wrong, he asked skeptically. Raon, hand over his chest and a smug smile on his face, replied, then I'll do whatever you want. Accepting the terms, Edequil walked away, throwing one last jab over his shoulder. You won't be running your mouth again after this. As they journeyed toward their destination, a hooded figure watched from a distance, silently observing. With a smirk, he spoke. Wait, actually, this might be even better. A sly grin spread across his face as he recalled his control over the ice trolls, a plan beginning to form in his mind. If you're new here or just need a refresher, I highly recommend checking out the previous part before diving into this exciting chapter. Now that we're all caught up, a huge thanks to Sizzling Meme for the super thanks. Let's dive into this new chapter. What's the scene like as we pick up where we left off? Edequil's eyes widened in shock as he gazed out at the scene before them, his voice laced with incredulity. How did this happen? He trailed off, stunned. Tyrion's expression mirrored his, both men taken aback by what they saw. As they took in the ice troll group gathered around them, Edequil's tone shifted from surprise to astonishment. There were actually trolls here, he exclaimed, his words barely above a whisper. Edequil's jaw clenched as he gritted his teeth, his mind racing with incredulity. No way, he thought to himself, how did he find these trolls from that distance? Edequil's eyes snapped wide open in shock, his face twisted in a mixture of surprise and indignation. You didn't forget our bet, did you? Raon's words hung in the air, and for a moment, it seemed like the entire world had come to a standstill. Raon slowly walked towards Edequil from behind, his voice dripping with confidence as he spoke. After this battle, the snow attack squad will handle all the chores. Edequil silently turned towards Raon, his eyes narrowing slightly as he processed the words. Raon's gaze locked onto Edequil's, his expression unwavering as he continued, you're the captain of the squad. I hope you won't go back on your word. Edequil's face twisted in rage as he glared at Raon, his teeth gritted in a snarl. This arrogant, he spat, before Tyrion's calm and authoritative voice cut through the tension. Enough. It's hard to believe, but we're extremely fortunate to have discovered the trolls thanks to Raon's senses. We have a job to do now. Vice Commander Tyrion's words acted like a bucket of cold water, dousing the flames of Edequil's anger. He halted his movement, his chest heaving with suppressed fury, as he forced himself to focus on the task at hand. The tension between Raon and Edequil momentarily forgotten, Tyrion's voice rang out, all units, prepare for combat. The group sprang into action, the crossbow unit swiftly taking out their crossbows and positioning themselves behind Tyrion. With his sword drawn, Tyrion barked out the next orders, lock, load. Tyrion's voice thundered through the forest, fire at will. As he shouted, he slashed his sword downward, signaling the start of the attack. The crossbow unit responded with precision, unleashing a hail of bolts that shot towards the ice trolls with deadly accuracy. One arrow shot out, flying straight and true, piercing the troll's massive body with a sickening thud. The troll's painful scream echoed through the forest, a chilling sound that sent shivers down the spines of even the most seasoned warriors. As the arrows found their mark, Tyrion bellowed out the next order. Their movements have been hampered. Don't give them a moment to recover. With a fierce battle cry, he charged down the slope, his sword at the ready. The group followed close behind, their swords drawn and gleaming in the fading light. Trolls will regenerate if you leave them be. Aim for their necks and hearts. Beto sprang into action, climbing up a troll's body with agility and precision, and striking down with his sword, slicing through the troll's neck with a deadly blow. Edequil fought fiercely alongside, his sword flashing in the dim light as he struck down troll after troll with fearless abandon. The sound of clashing steel and the troll's pained roars filled the air. Tyrion's voice rang out once more, don't leave any survivors. Left side, maintain formation. Raon watched the intense battle unfold, his eyes scanning the movements of the warriors. He thought to himself, seeing how they move as one, they're definitely veterans. They're using formations effectively to suppress the ice trolls. Raon's gaze lingered on Tyrion, impressed by the commander's tactical prowess. Raon's gaze shifted to Beto, and he thought to himself, Beto, that person is quite different when he fights. Just a moment ago he was quite calm, but now there's a different light in his eyes. Raon's expression turned contemplative as he paused for a moment, his mind working to connect the dots. He wondered, was the ominous feeling I had before the sort of thing, because that tendency was leaking out? Dorian's sudden call pierced through the air. Raon. Why are you standing still? Raon was jolted out of his thoughts, his gaze snapping towards Dorian in surprise. Dorian's eyes widened in surprise as he asked, normally, you wouldn't have been able to stop yourself and have jumped in already. You're too calm today. Raon replied calmly, our mission is to protect the scouts, we should stand by at our current location, and, he paused for a moment. Before continuing, I have a separate opponent. Dorian's expression transformed from curiosity to shock and surprise, his eyes locking onto Raon's with concern. What? He asked worriedly, his voice barely above a whisper, as if sensing that something intense was brewing. Raiden's voice rang out, scouts, don't approach. Just provide support from the rear. The scouts swiftly responded, falling back to a safe distance. Raiden continued to issue orders, those with swords, block the trolls from the front, and those with crossbow, scatter the trolls' attention. The scouts moved with practiced precision. Raiden's face lit up with a triumphant smile as he thought to himself, the battle is going a lot better than normal. We were able to overwhelm them from the start by ambushing them. The trolls still haven't recovered their momentum and are confused. His eyes gleamed with satisfaction as he surveyed the battlefield, where the scouts and soldiers were fighting fiercely against the ice trolls. Raiden's thoughts wandered to Raon's contribution, and he thought to himself, this is all thanks to that newbie Raon. Once we get back, I should buy a... But before he could finish his thought, he became speechless, his mind snagging on a sudden, unsettling feeling. A shiver ran down his spine as he sensed something ominous brewing. His head jerked around, eyes scanning the battlefield, searching for the source of the unease. His eyes widened in alarm as he spotted two towering ice trolls emerging from the trees, their massive bodies radiating an aura of fury. An ice troll warrior and shaman, he thought, his mind racing with concern. The trolls' eyes blazed with rage as they beheld the group, their faces twisted in snarls. The warrior troll unleashed a deafening roar, charging down the cliffside with incredible speed and agility. It launched itself into a powerful jump, hurtling towards Raiden with its massive stone axe raised high. Raiden's eyes widened in surprise as he thought, how did they? But his thoughts were cut short as the troll's trajectory became clear. Raiden's face set in a grim expression as he assessed the situation, his mind racing with the limited options available. I can't dodge, he realized, bracing himself for the impact as the troll's axe came crashing down towards him. Just as the warrior troll's axe seemed destined to strike Raiden, Beto burst into action, charging forward with incredible speed and agility. He intercepted the troll's attack, using his sword to deflect the axe and create an opening. Meanwhile, Tyrion swiftly moved in, grabbing Raiden and pulling him to safety. Focus, Raiden, Tyrion ordered, his voice firm and urgent. If you don't, you'll die. Raiden's gaze snapped back to the battle, his eyes locking onto Tyrion's intense expression, and he replied, right, understood. After deflecting the warrior troll's attack, Beto spoke up with a grin, damn, it seems warriors are definitely different. His smile hinted at admiration for the troll's strength and ferocity. Beto's eyes gleamed with excitement as he readied himself for the next exchange, his sword at the ready. A blast of ice magic hurled towards Beto and Tyrion, prompting both to leap back in a swift, synchronized motion. The air was torn apart by a fierce explosion as the magic crashed into the ground, sending shards of ice and debris flying everywhere. The forest echoed with the blast's aftermath, the trees trembling from the force of the impact. Tyrion's gaze locked onto the shaman, his eyes narrowing in anger as he gritted his teeth in frustration. As Tyrion's gaze locked onto the shaman, who was rapidly casting another spell, he thought to himself, the shaman is supporting with magic from the high ground. If I also need to account for him while fighting, it'll be difficult. Tyrion's voice rang out, crisp and commanding, as he ordered, all units, don't let your guard down. Ediquil and the Snow Attack Squad, suppress the warrior Beto is fighting. The scout squad will disrupt the shaman's incantations. The units sprang into action, responding to Tyrion's directives with precision. Ediquil and his squad grouped together, their movements fluid and synchronized. Yes, sir. Ediquil shouted back, his voice echoing through the battlefield as he led his squad towards the warrior troll Beto was fighting. Raiden ordered his scouting team, who readied themselves to attack the shaman and disrupt the incantation. Scouts, understand? Raiden shouted, reload your crossbows and dash. But before he could finish his command, a black hooded figure suddenly appeared, its presence seeming to draw the very light out of the air, and cast Ice Bolt. The figure raised its hand, and a bolt of ice shot towards the group with deadly precision. Raiden's eyes widened in alarm as he watched the ice bolt hurtle towards them, his mind racing to react to this new and unexpected threat. As the ice bolt hurtled towards the group, Raon suddenly burst into action, rushing forward with his sword at the ready. With a swift and precise motion, he swung his sword, slicing through the air and striking the ice bolt with perfect timing. Raon, still standing tall after deflecting the ice bolt, locked eyes with the black hooded figure and spoke in a firm tone. "You finally came out." Raiden's eyes widened in shock as he thought to himself, "Raon? What was that just now?" Raiden's mind reeled with surprise and confusion, struggling to understand how Raon had reacted so swiftly and precisely to the sudden threat. The black hooded figure slowly walked towards the group, his footsteps deliberate and measured. As he walked, he spoke up with a laugh, "The little child that blocked my magic." He paused for a moment, his gaze shifting to Tyrion, and continued, "And the vice commander who understood the situation and made good strategic orders. You're both amazing." His words were laced with a mixture of surprise and admiration. After paying his compliments, the black hooded figure came in front of the shaman and the warrior troll. Tyrion's face twisted in anger as he shouted, "I was thinking that the troll's movement were weird, but it was you bastards. Eden!" His voice echoed through the battlefield, his tone venomous. The black hooded figure, Eden Blue Spirit, turned his gaze towards Tyrion, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. Eden's Blue Spirit spoke up with a laugh, "Don't get so worked up." Suddenly, a dark, ominous aura erupted from Eden as he cast a curse towards the group. "Sorcery, Cold Shadow Demon Curse," he declared, his voice dripping with malevolence. "I won't leave a single one of you alive." Tyrion, Edequil, and Beto were shocked and panicked by the sudden turn of events, their eyes fixed on Eden's Blue Spirit as it seemed to grow in power. A massive, crushing pressure descended upon the group, forcing them down to the ground. As they knelt down on the ground, Beto struggled to speak, "This is..." But before he could finish, Edequil chimed in, his voice laced with alarm, "I'm suddenly getting chills and my body won't move." The three of them tried to stand, but their bodies seemed rooted to the spot, refusing to obey their commands. Tyrion's face contorted in frustration and anger as he gritted his teeth, his eyes blazing with fury. Eden's Blue Spirit spoke in a cold, calculated tone, "For our most noble restoration plan." Tyrion's gaze locked onto the Blue Spirit, a look of worry etched on his face as he sensed the gravity of the situation. The Blue Spirit continued, its voice devoid of emotion, "I shall take your lives today." With a wave of its hand, Eden began to cast out a spell, his voice dripping with malice as he uttered a single, chilling word, "Die." The air seemed to respond to the command, dark energy swirling around the group as if eager to obey Eden's deadly decree. Just as Eden was about to complete his incantation, Raon burst forward, his sword flashing in the dim light. With a swift motion, he shattered the curse that had immobilized the group, freeing them from its grasp. Before Eden could react, Raon's sword sliced through the air, striking down the Blue Spirit and disrupting the incantation. The Blue Spirit recoiled from Raon's blow, its ethereal form wavering in surprise. "What? How can you move under my curse?" it exclaimed, its voice laced with incredulity. Raon's expression remained calm, his eyes locked onto the Blue Spirit as he announced, "You wouldn't know. I've lived my whole life." He paused for a moment, his gaze never leaving the Blue Spirit, before readjusting his stance, preparing for the next strike. As he rushed towards the Blue Spirit, his voice took on a resolute tone, with a stronger curse and stronger cold energy. With a swift and deadly motion, Raon unleashed his rabid Fang sword technique, employing the savage Fang dance to devastating effect. The sword sliced through the Blue Spirit with precision and ferocity, leaving a trail of dissipating energy in its wake. After delivering the strike, Raon landed smoothly on the ground, his movements fluid and controlled. As he stood tall, he offered a critique, "Relying on curses too much leaves your close combat capabilities way too weak." His gaze turned to the Blue Spirit, his eyes piercing as he awaited the spirit's response. Edequil's eyes widened in shock and surprise as he exclaimed, "The curse was lifted. That guy, how did he break through the curse that even got the vice commander to?" His words trailed off as he stared at Raon in awe, struggling to comprehend the extent of Raon's abilities. Beto, on the other hand, wore a knowing smile as he gazed at Raon. With the curse lifted, Tyrion's voice rang out, sharp and commanding, "We're still in combat. Suppress the remaining trolls before they can reorganize." His words snapped the group back into action, and they quickly refocused on the battlefield. Tyrion's order was a call to capitalize on the momentum shift, and the group sprang into motion, ready to take down the remaining trolls and gain the upper hand in the battle. After clearing out the trolls, the group stood before Eden's blue spirit, its form now weakened and lying near a rock. Tyrion's voice was laced with a mix of satisfaction and mockery as he spoke. "You must be displeased. After all that, you weren't even able to kill one person." His words dripped with sarcasm, highlighting the blue spirit's failure despite its elaborate plans and powerful curses. Tyrion's voice rose to a commanding tone as he ordered the blue spirit, "Now tell me why you ambushed us, then I will give you mercy and end your life painlessly." The blue spirit, however, responded with a laugh, its voice filled with defiance. "Mercy? I don't need something like that," it said, pausing for a moment before continuing. "In fact, you all should want to kill me quickly." Tyrion's expression shifted to one of surprise as he spoke. "What?" The blue spirit's voice dripped with mockery as it continued. "My motive from the beginning was just to split up Haben Castle's troops." While a scout, after pointing out at Haben Castle, spoke to Raiden, "Over there, at Haben Castle." Raiden's gaze followed the scout's pointing finger, his eyes locking onto the castle in the distance. The blue spirit's tone remained taunting. "Since we're here already, I'll give you a present. Thanks to your pathetic mercy." Its voice then shifted to a fierce tone. "Haben Castle shall fall in this battle." Just as the blue spirit finished speaking, a loud explosion rocked Haben Castle, the shockwave echoing through the forest and catching Tyrion off guard. Friends, this chapter comes to an end. To everyone watching, thank you for joining us on this adventure. If you're excited to see what happens next, let me know in the comments, ask for more chapters, and I'll keep them coming. If you'd like to support the channel and be part of our family, consider joining as a member. Don't forget to like and subscribe to help grow this community. Until next time, stay tuned.